Static Shock number 4, written by Scott McDaniel and John Rosen, art by Scott McDaniel. We left off last issue with Static finally beating Virul and the Slate Gang getting away. This issue picks up with a total pivot. Literally everything that we know up to this point just pivots. Like, we had a couple threads to carry over, but we're mostly doing new stuff, so hold on to your seats. Pick up, it's a fight between him and a woman made of sharp metal named Guillotina. Okay. Piranha is watching over because this is some sort of like demo fight where Guillotina is like the test run or the demo model or whatever. They fight for a while, just banter back and forth constantly. She lands a few shots off on Static, whereas Static finally uses some magnetism, wraps her up inside some metal pipes or whatever, and throws her down into an alley. And when he goes to find her, she's gone. She's managed to somehow slip out of these restraints, which is completely impossible. Static sees a couple of the people who were keeping an eye on the fight are running away. He tags one of them with some sort of tracking beacon and then flies off to deal with the metal shards that are in his arm. Piranha, however, despite the fact that they totally lost against Static, is completely sold on whatever the product is of Q juice. And he's like, yep, I'm sold. Whatever price you want, I'm in. So then we see what happened to Guillotina. Well, apparently she was trapped, and then something pulled her out into the fourth dimension and like saved her. And apparently the whole reason that he saved her was because he himself is being pulled into the fourth dimension, and as so he needs her help to stay in our three dimensions, and apparently that relies on Piranha succeeding at taking down Static. I don't get it. So we cut back to Static. He's on the phone with Frida, his old flame friend, whatever, from Dakota. And they're basically just talking like, yeah, Dakota had like Rubber Band Man. This place has some real tough guys who actually are like a threat. And Frida's like, what, you wanna give up? And he's like, no, I can't give up. I don't know, New York just kind of sucks a lot, but I'm not gonna quit until I make things right, especially for Sharon, my two sisters. And that's just the thing now. We're just really focusing on the Sharon thing. And you think that means we get an explanation as to, hey, how did this happen for people who didn't read that issue? The answer is no. We just get, you didn't put your family through hell. You didn't kidnap your sister. You didn't do sick things to her. You saved her. And that's it. That's all the explanation we get as to why there's two Sharons. Hope you enjoyed. So anyway, Static's now doubled down his resolve. And we cut to the Pale Man, who's talking to just some random guy about everything that's going on, about how Piranha's getting Q juice, and it's going to make some superpowered people, and blah, blah, blah. And as it turns out, the Pale Man's actually an undercover cop. He's reporting to his sergeant, who's this random dude who's dressed like a mechanic, and he's like, it's just, I've seen a lot of people die, and like they went under that gas, which reminds me of Joker gas, which is how I look like now. And the sergeant's like, tough, suck it up, this is your job, deal with it, unless you want to go, I don't know, for some reason he's going to jail if he doesn't want to do this. I don't know, whatever, point being. So we cut over to Star Labs, and the two Sharons are being analyzed, and they're like, okay, so we've sat them through some basic therapy, and despite the fact that we very explicitly said that there are privacy laws, we're going to go ahead and say, whatever, and let you listen to their therapy sessions, talking to the parents, mind you. Like, they actually say, quote, Sharon is of age and she asked her sessions to be kept private, but we do not let frivolous privacy laws keep us from doing what is right. Okay. So anyway, the Sharons, basically, they're asked a couple questions, but they are perfectly in sync. Like, they are answering everything exactly the same. So Star Labs is like, we feel like she's identical down to the molecular level, but we're going to keep trying, because that's what we do with Star Labs. And then he kind of gives a weird look, which makes me think he's going to be evil, but I'm not sure yet. So anyway, got over to some junkyard. they're making the deal with the dude who's trapped in the fourth dimension or whatever, and apparently he's the one who's given over the Q juice, and he phases into our dimension, and it's Dr. Nemo, which means nothing to me, and it's not elaborated at all. But apparently he was probably from Dakota. So they get the Q juice, they spray it on the people who are inside these cages, who I guess were the thugs of Piranha, but it seems pretty against their will. So then Pale Man gets a flashback to when he was Joker gassed. It was at a parade, and I'm pretty sure it was literally like the scene from Batman, like Batman 89, like that. So anyway, he was Jokerized, and he's got the laugh and whatever. And then Static finally gets on to following that tracking device from before, and as he arrives inside of Piranha's warehouse, Piranha now has all these new mutants. He's like, you all will get me the head of Static, and then we will own New York City. And Static's like, someone looking for me? So they get into a fight. Static basically just takes out everybody. He just uses his abilities to pin them against the wall with magnetic stuff. Except for one guy who apparently also has lightning powers, and his name, which I gotta say, I'm impressed. This dude was turned into a super mutant, whatever, like 30 seconds ago, and he's already got his name. It's Alkali. Could use some work. But anyway, he shocks Static. Static's down for a bit, and one of like guy who was turned into like rocks and girders or whatever, another guy who was turned into tires, it looks like. They hold on to Static and they drag him down to the bottom of the sea. And that's where we leave off. I like a new direction. I was really, really bored with the Slate Gang and their escapades. Really hated that. I'm glad there's a new direction. On the other hand, I need some explanation here, man. You're going to do the twin sisters thing. Give me something more. Who the hell is Dr. Nemo? You're not telling me things that I should know as a new reader. I'm going to go ahead and give this one a 4.5. I don't particularly hate the art. I think it's fine for what it is. For some reason, the Star Labs bit felt like really good by comparison. Everyone else just kind of felt the same, but it didn't do anything different. I don't know what changed. Maybe it just wasn't being monstrous for a second. So no, yeah, it's a 4.5. It's just, I'm tired of just having to accept, yes, there are two of these sisters. Like, yes, things happened before issue 1. I understand that, but you can tell me them. You can let me know what happened. You don't have to play this game of secrets. Maybe that's me. I don't know. Static Shock, 4.5.